Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Sanders, and this is Watch Art Side, the art and science of watch collection. Today, what I'd like to do, I would like to take high quality brands that have at least some of their collection at low prices. And these are often even below $1,000, but they're still really good watches. Others, the top is around maybe 5,000 somewhere in there. So we're talking about sort of the lower end, but far more affordable. The first one I want to start with is probably if I had to name somebody said I want a really top-notch watch at the very low price, I'll probably recommend Nomos. This particular one is Nomos Glashütte Club Sport Neomatic World Timer Rome. I saw this watch and I thought, wow, this is really. I mean, for Nomos, the thing about Nomos, I'm not the Bauhaus style more than anything else was, yeah, but they've been adding a lot of color, making their watches a lot more interesting. This world timer is $5,000, but they have Nomos has their prices start around $1,830 for a 36 millimeters club campus watches, and they have wonderful variety, both vertically price wise as well as function wise. So that's, I think, would be as good a starting place as I could come up with on that. The second brand is Seiko. Seiko has their own in-house movements. In fact, that's all they use, and they have a wide variety. The one that I have here is called the Prospect. It's $525. It's a diver. It's the movement is called a 4R36. It's automatic, 3 hertz, which I like. 21,600 semi oscillations per hour. 41-hour reserve. Um, you can find a gigantic selection of these. Now, the one I happen to have a Seiko 5. In fact, I think it's the one that's pictured there in the lower right-hand corner. I've had this for years. It's a field watch. If you know, this is the kind of watch you can do yard work in and check on the time. It has day date as well as a sweep second. Has both 24 hours as well as 12 hours. You know, this is it's just a neat watch. I mean, and for under 100, well, I paid under $100. I took a look at it and at I think a place in the U.S. called Long Island Watch. It was 129 bucks. Still, you can find great buys on this if and it has a exhibition window in the back so you can see the movement. So Seiko, you can find a lot of good watches that are made by Seiko with an in-house movement. Now, I guess it's a part of the Seiko, but not part of Seiko, is Grand Seiko. It's part of the same company. The one I found that I really liked was called the Grand Seiko GMT from what they call their Elegance collection. The caliber is 9S66 automatic. Now, the thing I don't like about that, and this is me, not the world, 36,000 semi-oscillations per hour or 5 hertz. You're going to get a lot of accuracy out of that, out of 5 hertz. Still, a 72-hour reserve, it's at that speed, must have a pretty big barrel. I'll put it that way. Um, Grand Seikos start about 4,300. Now, I know this is a lot compared to what the Seikos are. The Grand Seikos are quite a jump price wise, but they're really good quality watches, and I think it's a lot of collectors who have them will tell you the same thing. I don't have a Grand Seiko. I know people who do, and they love them. So this is for a more reasonable. Now on the pre-owned market, you can find some great deals on these. Now, this next one is one I've always been, I'll say, up in the air about. There are things I like about it and things I don't. This is Frederique Constant. This particular one is called the Manufacturer Slimline Moon Phase. The term manufacturer in front of it is something that bothers me that Frederique Constant does. I don't suppose they have to do it, but a lot of other companies do too. And if you look up the calibers that they have, you'll see all of these FC this, FC that. Most of them are Solitas. All right. They're not in-house movements, but Frederique Constant does have its own movement. One of them is called the Caliber FC 705 automatic 4 hertz, 42-hour, very standard one, but a nice one. They have several lower price watches. These are the ones with the Solita 200 base. These are all hand wound. They start about $1,195, so you can find some very good looking watches. At a watch show once, when they were sort of closing up, I ended up looking for some place to plop down, and it was in the Frederique Constant group, and the guy there was very nice, and he showed me some, and he handed me one. And he said, what do you think of this one? And what I thought was very good. I had sort of a prejudice against Frederique Constant because they didn't use real gold. I was in this at the period, at some period I went through. Everything had to be in gold if they're going to be high horology, and nobody should use gold plate, and Frederique Constant did. And so I was sort of held that against them, but I shouldn't have. Sometimes we do things, because a lot of the other ones are very good buys. Now, this next one, Longines, is one very well known. This particular one is called the HydroConquest. Now, this is an interesting one. It's Swatch owns Longines and ETA, and so whether that's sort of in-house or not, I'll leave it up to you. What I do know is that pretty much Longines and some of these other companies can get exactly what they want. It's not necessarily just off the shelf, but pretty close to it, I'll say it, put it that way. Now, the base movement, they have a caliber that's called the L888.2, and the base is ETA A31.L01, and it's based on the 2892A2, which is one of my very favorite ETA movements, a very good movement. This particular one, the HydroConquest, is a diver. It's got a screw-down unidirectional rotating bezel on it, so you can turn it around. It goes down 30 bar, scratch resistant, and so forth. And it has a super luminova, so if you actually do use it for diving, you can take a look at it. Most people don't. The price on it is $1,600. Now you compare that to a lot of other watches that look a lot like that, and I don't know. Longines, I think, is a bit underrated. I have one Longines. This Longines was sort of a special one. It doesn't even have a. This is from 1989, and it was some kind of anniversary, 150th or the 100th anniversary that they were using a Longines name. I was looking for an equation of time watch, and the problem with equation of time watches, they're very expensive. And then I found this Longines, and it's got an equation of time. It has the the sunrise, sunset time, and it has this bezel that you turn around for the different dates. It has here is the date. Here's the month over here. On this side is the month for in terms of the month of the year, and all of these things are set, and so you get the right time sunset and sunrise and so on and so forth on this, and then plus inclination of the Earth. So this is on a Longines, and it just this watch has been extremely accurate, excellent watch. It does have an ETA base to it, but then they put all of this other stuff in it for their anniversary celebration. And it's an excellent watch. Just as a regular timekeeper, I can wind it up. It's an automatic, and if I put it in the winder, pick it up a few days later, and it's still accurate. So, if you want to save money, again, these are for your good price, but you get you get what you pay for. 1600, you get an ETA 2892. I've seen a lot of them that will have some phony baloney name, and it's really an ETA of some sort or Solita, and then they'll charge you. They'll pretend like it's an in-house movement and charge you a bundle. I don't like that. Okay, moving right along. Speaking of ones that Tag Heuer, I don't know why I've always liked Tag Heuer, even though there's so many things that don't recommend it, but there's certain things that do. The thing that most represents it is they're well priced, they're well made. They don't have their own movement. They have one of the best watchmakers in the world, and Carol Forstier Casapi. She's one of the watchmakers, one of the very few watchmakers who won a special prize they have at the Grand Prix called the Watchmaker of the Year. She won it, and she's their chief watchmaker there now. They're still using, they have these calibers, they call them caliber 1, 2, 3, etc. This is caliber 5. And caliber 5 is either an ETA 2824-2, which is one of the most common movements used ever, or Solita SW200. The 2824 and the Solita SW200 are both automatics. The Solita SW200 is based on the 2824. They'll fit in the same spot. Like I said, this is lower price, but then compare this to what you get with the Longines, and the Longines has probably this very similar, not exactly the same kind of caliber, but our caliber in terms of make by ETA. But still, there's certain Tag Heuer watches I just like. Sort of a lame one, but anyway, it's your choices on these. Now this next one company is a very interesting one. Christopher Ward. It's one of these companies. It's got another one of these companies that has a mix of in-house and not in-house, and then they have sort of half in-house too. One of the most economical ones and really nice one I found was called the C63 Sealander. 39 millimeters. It's sort of a everyday knock around watch. $930. These are all brand new prices, by the way. It's got a Solita SW200-1. It's a manual wind, 4 hertz, 38-hour reserve. Nothing earth-shattering. It's got a little date window down at 9 o'clock, and the rest is all centered hands, hours, minutes, and then they have a sweep second. I just like the looks of it. It's just a nice looking watch. Nothing, and the price is nice too. Now, at the same time, Christopher Ward has some watches that are a little more than that. A few years ago, the Bel Canto, the one in the lower right hand, the purple one, won a Grand Prix award for the Petite Aiguille Award, which means it's all of the watches under 10,000, between 3,500 and 10,000. A lot of very heavy competition. The Bel Canto won that. Now, it had a Sellita 200 in it, SW200-1, but they put in what's an FSO1 module, and it's sort of like a minute repeater. You get these little chime in there, it'll ding along. Super popular watch, very very popular. 39.95. Again, we're talking not that crazy expensive watches. I mean, especially if Rolexes, I think, are now starting around 10,000. So now another one that they have. This is the newest one, I think. It's called the C12 Loco. I'm not sure where the name came from, but they have a lot of the movement and the escapement on the top, and so you can look at the time, and right below it they have a couple bridges, and they are, and it's an in-house movement called a CW003. In the past, they've also had their own movement. They had one called the SH21, and I don't know what happened to that one. Sometimes they're using an ETA or Sellita, one they've been through the mill years and years, and they run flawlessly because they've been tested so much. And so you want to have an in-house movement. You come out with an in-house movement, you run into all of these problems. So this is something that can happen with. I'd heard that the SW21 or SH21 had a few problems. I don't know if they ever worked them out or not. But the thing about it is that they're committed. Having your own in-house movement shows a level of commitment over those who don't have that. So it's sort of another one. Christopher Ward is place, I think, to look at. By the way, too, I don't know if they still have them or not, but they used to be sort of the Morgan motor car watches. I love Morgans, and so naturally I thought they were great watches. Now the final thing, there's some of the smaller, newer ones, sort of the micro brands that I found, really worthwhile. One is the going from upper left to right and then lower left and right. The Dumouriez. That watch is very, very well made. I had one that we gave out for one of our awards that we had, and it's a nice watch. It's got a SW210-1 hand wound in it, 1250. Everything in it is Swiss made. The designer is in California, so that's his base, and he does all of the design work on the dial. And I think he does a very good job. He works for this outfit in Switzerland. They do all of the other work putting the watch together. Comes out with a great product. Easy to sell those things out. Very nice one. This particular one with the red dial is called the Hong Kong edition. Now the one next to it is one of my favorite newer companies called Studio Underdog. This is an English company, and they start off at 725 and they go up. This particular one is one I happen to like. It's sort of their watermelon style to it. Now they use a bespoke ST 19018, which is a Chinese brand by a company called Seagull. Anybody who knows of anything about Chinese brands knows about Seagull. Manual winding, and this is one from the 725. Some of the newer ones, a friend of mine got a newer one, and it has this special setup with I think how they have it. It sort of looks like the numbers are floating on top of the dial. Really cool looking watch, very well made. I think that one has a Swiss movement in it, probably a Sellita. I'm not positive on that, but it's a neat company. This next one, Amita, I know the developer of that, Matthew Allegri. He's one of the main people in the company, and this was a sort of a model from the 70s. It was sort of like 70s looking at what a futuristic watch is going to look like. And what they did is sort of interesting. They took the movement in it is called a Soprod Newton, and the Newton is one of their upscale movements that Soprod has. Soprod, I have a Soprod A10. The A10 has Seiko's first attempt at high horology movements. It's an excellent movement. So I have a really good feeling about Soprod. Now the final one is an outfit called Bede. Uh, they start around $2,500. They have a Salida SW300, which is one of their more upscale movements. This particular one that I'm showing is one that was entered in the Grand Prix. I don't know whether they or one of their last year. I know they didn't win last year, but in the past I've seen them, and they've been in what's called the nominated watches. And I like their design and the whole thing about it. Most of it, I think, is sold in Dubai and some of the Mid Eastern states. Sort of from the new guys, if you're interested in, again, low prices with good quality. Would really like to hear what you think. Any ones that you would recommend, I'd like to hear about. Let me know. Take care. Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. It's an opportunity to subscribe if you like.